Hello and welcome to number 6 of the After Hours, or the D20 After Hours podcast.
Hello.
Hello. With myself, Dave.
And Ollie.
And Ollie. So weird. You
reversal,
always have to say something afterwards. Like Dave, they've just
The
died.
guy with the hat.
The guy with the hat.
The guy with the hat.
You're wearing a hat too.
I am. Julia gave me this.
Oh.
I didn't have, because it's funny, because I didn't have any, I don't own any hats that don't have ears and paws and rainbows.
Or some kind of Pikachu
Yeah,
reference.
exactly. And I was like, the other day, I was like, oh, it's cold, I need a hat, but I was going to like a work thing, so I needed a sensible one. I'm like, no, ears, Pikachu, ears, this one has hands.
This one has hands.
This one's a rainbow hat. I was like, oh.
Yeah. So first off, we want to thank everyone for listening last week. We actually got an email from last week that we'll read out later on the show.
Yes, I want to talk about that, so we should read that out later.
Okay. That's the whole point of reading it out. It's like, I want to talk about... No, we're going to read it out and that's it.
If you mention one thing
one thing about it, even his name,
dead.
yeah, you're dead to me. Anyway, but we've had a few milestones on the channel the past 2 weeks. And it's not us gloating, we just get really, really excited when one of these things come up.
We're amazed that anyone watches this at all, let alone 500 people subscribe.
Yeah, we're amazed that we got above 50 views when we were first releasing our reviews.
Yeah.
First off, we hit 400,000 minutes watched of our content.
That's a lot of time.
That's nearly 500,000 of time that we've sucked away from people.
People staring at our ugly mugs for that, 400,000 minutes.
Well, maybe they're closing their eyes and just picturing something else.
Yeah.
They don't need to stare.
In fact, they probably turn the sound off as well and just imagine. So basically, they just get the video going.
I like it. You make everyone like that takes our content in just to be creeps, just to be that real kind of like, oh yeah. I'm gonna mute this
in a basement covered in lotion, just rolling around like a slug.
Yeah, but thanks everyone, and also most importantly, we hit 500 subscribers on our channel, which 500 subscribers was our goal for the year.
Yeah, so we've already hit it,
and we've already hit it. So thank you everyone that's commented, watched it, listening to this. If you're listening to this, you're probably one of the more dedicated people that follow our channel.
Which is awesome.
All we can say is we'll keep making as long as you keep listening and engaging with us.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, let's get the lotion.
No, we're not getting I can't believe I even took you seriously for a second. I was just like, we're not getting a lotion.
So yeah, we generally don't know what we're going to talk about on these podcasts, but it's a chance for us to kind of just chill after. Usually we do this after filming.
Hence the after hours. Like before, when we did the first 4, when we kind of had a couch and we kind of were live streaming on that. Yeah. I think what didn't fit right, it wasn't really us letting loose and talking about things.
Yeah, it was kind of more putting on interesting content for the camera.
Trying to, yeah. And this is our way of kind of showing people more of us. Yeah. And also being able to just engage, because Ollie doesn't live here anymore. We barely talk. We only talk now. Well, we do talk on Facebook. We don't really get together face to face until we do videos.
Recording, or we do like production meetings every month or so.
Yeah. But I mean, we see each other so regularly. I mean, that's as much as you'll probably see a friend anyway. Is on a weekly basis showing up. And at least we're doing something productive with it.
I talk to you more than anyone else on Facebook.
It's like Julia.
More
than your own girlfriend that you live with.
I live with her, so I talk to her a bit more. But no, you're the person I talk to the most on Facebook.
Yeah, that's because we got something in common, like just the channel, and it's been a very interesting and strange ride, you could say.
Yeah, we've had arguments and we've had low moments, but the majority of it is really, really good.
Yeah, I think it's because we are opposite, and that's why it works. And I think I told you this when we weren't on the podcast. Yeah. That the last comments we had of the last NPCs really showed what we had always thought of us being different in terms of our opinion. So for those that didn't watch it, I'm surprised you didn't. But we had a different opinion when it comes to the drug side of things. Yeah. So in Critical Role, they mentioned some of the players were having fun with drug use, you could say. Yeah. And Ollie said because of their audience, because of who they follow, that should be not done or put down to a lesser scale. And I was more like, you don't want to take anything from the game. You should be free to do that.
It was kind of like freedom of speech, responsibility kind of debate.
And I completely got your side.
And I totally get yours.
And it was funny, the comments that we got is some people said I agree with Dave and some people said I agree with Ollie. And that was like exactly where we want to be. Because we want to have those two different... So we see the same content, but we translate it in a different way and we have different feelings with it. And that's the whole point of, I think, of a review. Sometimes if you only hear one person's perspective, you start to think maybe that's the right
Yeah.
way to go.
Which is way better for mental health attitude. For a healthy mental attitude.
To have one opinion?
No, to have
multiple.
different, to have different perspectives on stuff. Because it helps you kind of figure out how you feel.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're wrong. It doesn't mean you're right.
Something like this is very subjective.
Yeah, entertainment, always. And we're not just talking about, a show on YouTube. We're talking about movies, television, music.
Yeah.
Especially art. Yeah. Art is, you see some art and you're like, who would pay like $100,000 for this scribble?
Billionaires who don't even consider that to be an amount.
Exactly. And it's like, that's beautiful, it's art, and just like, I'm pretty sure someone just ate too much. Like, someone got high, ate too much paint, and then just vomited up something.
Well, see, the interesting thing about art, say for example, you.
No, do you mean art as in paintings, or art as in
I suppose
TV?
It's supposed to anything really.
Okay.
Like if you look at an artwork and it makes you say sad, like you look at like a Van Gogh painting, and it kind of reflects reverence in you, and you feel.
So I'm just imagining someone going out to a painting going sad, because you said if it makes you say sad, it was like. Sad, happy, joy.
To be fair, the pretentious people that go to art.
So someone's at our door.
This is the second time. If it's not pizza this time, I'm going to be really pissed off because I was really hoping it would be last.
I don't want to answer it because Chris is down there.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris is our new flatmate.
Yeah, he replaced me.
Well, I got into your room and he went into my room.
Dave basically wanted to just be close to me when I was gone, so he moved into my room and he'd just pick up my things and smell them.
It feels like Chris is not going to answer the door.
Coldplay. All right,
you banned for a while.
I'll entertain. Okay, I just realised I have nothing to say.
Yeah, he's answering it.
Come back quick. I can't do this on my own. You leave for 3 seconds and the whole thing collapses. I was like, don't worry, I'll just talk. I turned to the mic and I was like, oh god, I have nothing to say.
That kind of feels like what's going to happen when you go to Japan.
Oh man.
I'm just going to go...
That's really soon. I thought it was 5 months away. It's only 4 months away. So I've just cut out any spending on myself. Like instead of having $100 a week, it's like $10 a week on manga and stuff. And the rest of it is all just going towards spending money in Japan.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm still trying to work it. I mean, it's 4 months away. I'm pretty sure I can come with that. And it's only for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
4 weeks. And for those that want to peek behind the scenes how we do Dragon Taverns and why I have a beard in some videos. I don't.
People keep commenting.
Someone mentioned that.
Yeah, where's your beard gone?
It's like, Dave, what'd you do with the beard? It's like, I
haven't had it for ages.
I have to have a living and get a job and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what was it? Yeah, so we film the Dragon Taverns in bulk now because of Ollie not living here.
Yeah.
And we try and kind of record about 3 to 4.
And a go, because then we've got once they're edited, we've got 4 weeks where all we have to do is NPCs and the podcast. So it allows us to kind of take a step back and do other things.
The reason why we're kind of off right now is because Chris has come up. Chris is up, a new flatmate. He's come up and he's sitting on the couch. But he doesn't realise we're only 10 minutes into an hour podcast. So he's going to be sitting there for a very long time. You're just listening? Come sit down. Come sit down. Yeah. Join the conversation.
I have 2 friends having a private chat for the moment.
Oh, they're having a deep and meaningful?
I think so.
It's a really weird thing to have at someone's house.
This is real life, alright? This is what happens in life. I'm going to get a seat. Get a seat.
Oh, but then
so otherwise you're going to be standing up for the next 50 minutes.
I would be.
Yeah, so Chris is a new flatmate. Ollie and Chris have never actually had a proper conversation before.
I've never met him until today.
Yeah, until literally 5 minutes before we started filming the podcast.
Yeah.
So this would be interesting. If this could go really well, or it could be just complete rubbish. We're going to find out here on the After Hours podcast.
What were we saying? We're talking about beards or something?
Yeah, we're talking about beards, how people comment on the fact
Tokyo,
I don't have a beard.
So I'm gone for 4 weeks. I'm in Tokyo for 2 weeks. I'm in Kyoto for 2 weeks. I'm doing some soul searching. I'm going to be writing a book because that's a bucket list item. I've already started that.
You mentioned in the last podcast.
Yeah, I've started writing.
It's a poetry book.
No, it's a true story about my experiences interspersed with poetry that I've written through the journey.
Are you going to call shit in Japan just to make a more interesting story?
Yes.
You're just going to go... I was you're 3 weeks in, you're like, this is just not interesting whatsoever, and then you
I haven't even left the hotel yet. I'm just playing Nintendo.
What's the Japanese mob called?
The Yakuza.
The Yakuza. It's I wonder where I can find them.
Well, see, no. Half the time is going to be scheduled, go to this temple, do this tour, and half of the time is just going to be explore and just find places and just wander.
Yeah. I'm just going to write a book about exploring.
Kind of, yeah. So basically, I'm just all my money is going towards that for the next 4 months.
So I'm gonna have to film essentially 4 reviews.
Yeah.
Without you.
Without me, or maybe Skype me in, but that could be a nightmare because of time differences.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
So maybe we'll get like someone else.
I can get Chris to do it. Hey, Chris. He's just staring into nothingness right now.
I had a big weekend. I'm just thinking about that. I'm just processing my recent life.
Yeah.
Your life choices. You're having like a moral crisis while we're talking about going to Japan.
Pretty much.
So what's wrong? Let's
unpack this.
Let's unpack this. What's wrong?
For me?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong. It's just...
Go. What was your life choices on the weekend that's making you think over everything?
Well...
And don't worry, no one hears this.
No one actually listens to this. We don't even
Nothing's been recorded or anything.
No. The microphone is just for ambience.
Yeah, it's decoration.
It nearly looks like a person. Like a...
What the hell is
Legs and arms and the head, and it's like holding up something over there.
I'm sorry.
This is great audio commentary. You went really close to that mic, so everyone just heard you very loud.
Wow.
Yeah. I just like that's a really nice shirt you're wearing, Dave.
Yeah. I like the colour of something else you're wearing. So what's wrong? What's on your mind?
Well,
you might as well say it now. We've got this one.
Yeah.
This is what the podcast is
it's
for.
too far not to.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong. It's just there's just a lot of things to think about. We
like what?
Went to
Name one thing. There's so many. You should have.
Went to a big bunker rave.
A bunker
on
rave?
Saturday night.
Oh my god, you're young, aren't you? You're one of those young people.
Wait, how do you?
People.
How do you?
How old am I?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't even know that yet, do you?
No.
Oh.
This is the first time I'm hearing about it.
Yeah.
What do you have? How?
I'm 21.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
got his whole life. Oh,
I know.
3 years ago, I was in high school.
oh man. So you're doing a whole like out drinking and
4.5 years ago.
you probably have friends and you go out at night and you don't just
you
sit
probably
home.
have friends.
Yeah.
Really.
You don't
friends sometimes.
You don't sit home. You don't drink tea. It's oh god.
I drink tea.
I don't believe it. You drink like Red Bull.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. That's a physical
I'm gonna
thing.
prove it by drinking tea. It's like that doesn't prove anything. That means you can make tea right now.
What I was gonna show you was that I owned tea bags.
Can I have some tea?
How about we stop talking about tea, guys? So what? You just got too messed up on the weekend.
No, it was not. I was great.
So you went to a bunker rave.
I went to a big bunker rave.
How do you not get messed up?
It ends at 8
No,
a.m.
just newbies, eh?
No, right. You should be disappeared for 3 days and not even remember who you are.
I did. That's literally what happened.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah. So the bunker rave ended at 8 a.m. But when we noticed that dawn was happening at like 6 or 6:30,
Yeah.
me and my friend went outside, like on top of the bunker, to watch the sunrise.
Cool.
So on the surface. Because
Yeah.
if it's in a bunker, you just go to the surface.
Yeah, yeah. And we went onto the above it, and then we met some people up there, and ended up in like this big like massage train. We were just massaged.
Oh, you guys were in that state. So the drugs had kicked in. You guys were just kind of like...
It's probably that last crest as you're coming down.
It was that.
I've been part of a massage train, and I don't like people touching me, so that's how messed up
I remember once at a party, we all ended up just lying in a pile in the front yard, staring at the stars. That was quite good.
It's cool, like, end of the night, like...
Yeah,
the sweet spot of end of the night is around about, like, 3 to 5, I find. It's because everything's clear, everyone's kind of going home, it's kind of like everything you've taken or drunken, more drunken, is kind of wearing off, and you can just crash out before the sun comes out, because sleeping with the sun's out is kind of annoying.
Yeah. The air is crisp, the mind is crisp.
Yeah, and you
have those deep and meaningfuls you start talking about.
Because if you push yourself further than that, you're not going to get to sleep until like 10 a.m. or something.
Yeah,
like that.
wow. Oh, that's the thing. We so I met these people at like 6:30. This group, and it ended up being a group of 7 of us, and eventually our massage train just collapsed backwards into a big cuddle train.
So
really
the
nice.
massage into cuddle, and then after that,
So
orgy.
orgy, basically, that's what we're leaving.
3 days later, it was just a massive orgy just going nuts.
Has not stopped.
Just writhing bodies like some kind of...
Well, nearly. We went
American clock drink.
after that. About like we stayed there until about 10 a.m. Then we went down to the beach and had a skinny dip, and that was to like wake up and refresh ourselves, because we were.
I remember being
starting
able
to
to
get a
do
bit
this.
tired.
I remember being able to be out.
I've been there, yeah.
I haven't done that in 7 years.
Last time we went was skinny, that was
When I was 21.
about 5 years ago, I'd say. 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's not something that comes up on the agenda a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like you kind of have to be with the right people to do it, also the right space, and also isolated enough because like you got to Oriental, skinny down. People are gonna have a problem.
We were driving through Island Bay trying to find a beach with like not too many people.
Yeah.
And then like we nearly pulled up at this one which had probably like 10 people there, and then I was like, should we try to find a different one?
So you guys actually worked to go for a skinny dip. You didn't just like we're on a beach and they go,
we were like, let's go find a beach where we can be naked.
You put in way too much work for that. It's like if you want to be naked, be naked. It's like
it was a nice drive. Eventually
Dave,
we found one. We
my
found
pants
one.
are on. Just for the record.
Not in my head, man. Not in my head. I remember once.
I can't control your head. All right? I think we've made this clear. I can't control the thoughts in your head.
Even I can't do that. No, I remember once at a party, I decided to scale the wall of a bowling green because I thought the bowls green would be a nice place for a nap, and then realised that the other side of this fence was a lot harder to climb over and was stuck in a bowls club at 2 a.m.
I could tell the story of how I got arrested.
Go for it.
Have you ever heard
I'll tell you the story. If you tell me the story about how you got arrested, I'll tell you the story about how I robbed the bakery.
Alright, I did get robbed a bakery. That sounds way more... Did you get arrested for it?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Alright, so my story involves World of Warcraft.
Oh, of course.
So basically we had our first ever real life meetup with World of Warcraft, like a clan of World of Warcraft.
And you got catfished. She was only...
I didn't get catfish, no. So we went there, it was all good, everyone was in the good vibes, seeing each other for the first time, all that online banter that you had with each other, it translated really well.
Yeah.
But I saw some Canadian whiskey, which I thought was a brilliant idea to drink a lot of that.
Yeah.
I don't remember much after that point. So there was a whole big bottle of Canadian whiskey and I drank about 3/4 of it.
Yeah.
And for some reason, my mind decided to go to Burger King, and I really wanted to go to Burger King, and I just left. Didn't tell anyone, and apparently what had happened over the next few hours of me leaving, everyone was ransacking the house trying to find me.
Yeah.
Wow.
But basically I left drunk on Canadian whiskey, and I was in an area that I didn't know how I got there because I think I drove there or I got a ride there or something like that. I didn't drive.
I was going to say.
I didn't drive.
No,
I walked. But because I didn't know where I was, I got lost.
Yeah.
So I had a flip phone at the time. This was many years ago.
This is like 2000.
This was like 2000. No, this was like 2007,
Okay.
2008.
I was just trying to think like when flip phones.
So I had a flip phone. Flip phone.
Both just said flip phone.
Yeah, flip phone. I had a flip phone. And I was walking down a path and I remember just throwing it up in the air because I thought it was clever. You know how you throw something, you catch it, and you feel like the man, and then you keep on doing it.
I do it all the time.
Drunken Dave thought he was doing it really well, but what happened is I threw the phone over a fence, and it had like a slope. And so I was like, oh crap, climb over that, lost my footing, fell into a ditch. At this point I had whacked my head on the side of the building and I had blood streaming down my face.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm stuck, but I found a bike there. So I decided to try and ride the bike out of the ditch.
Yeah.
Didn't work, I just made a lot of noise. And apparently I was there for about half an hour trying to wheel this little pedal bike out of the ditch. Yeah, and eventually I was like, oh, okay, I'll climb up on the ditch and knocked on the door of the house.
Yeah.
Now at this point I had blood streaming down my face, like a lot of blood streaming down my face, a huge gash. I knocked on the door, they answered it, and I said, I'm from the future. My name, because this is in the police report that I was given. I'm from the future, my name is Noah, help me. But the help me was like, they think I said help me, but it was all kind of garbled because I was drunk. Yeah. And they said, fuck off.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's really rude, and I left, and I left the same way I fell in. I got my flip phone, I was still a flip phone. And I got to the path, and I was walking down trying to act like nothing was happening, while blood streaming down my face, and a copper came up to me. and she goes, what you doing? I'm like, going to Burger King. And she's like, and she just grabbed me and just pulled me into the copper car. Yeah. And at that point I was just like, oh, what the hell's happening? I don't know. And she goes, what is your name? I'm like, my name's Noah. and she was like, your ID says David. I know. And she was like, where are you from? I'm from the future. and then she was asking, no, where in the where in Wellington are you from? Yeah. I said, I'm from the future. in 2008. It was 2007 at the time. I was from 1 year in the future.
Yeah, they gone that far, to be honest.
And so they just gave up, and they take it to 2000. Policy in New Zealand is to take off the belts.
Oh, yeah.
And so I had a belt on, and they're like, take off your belt. I'm like, I don't know how to tell you this, but we don't have belts in the future. I don't know how this works. And they just took the belt off me and threw me in the cell.
Right.
And I was just like, this is not how you treat your elders. And they slammed the door.
Yeah.
And because it was all in the police report. And when I sobered up, I was like, that was how. What the hell happened? Call my mate and I got a story for you. And eventually I got diversion. So in New Zealand, if you get a very minor offence, you get something, a diversion. It's like a gimme card. Something so minor that it's not really a big deal, they wipe off your record. And I had to write a letter of apology to both the police commissioner and to the couple that I landed at, or that I caused this commotion for, because apparently they were freaked out. And I've had to pay a fine, but then I got diversion. And yeah, that was it. Apparently they ransacked the house. My friends would ransack the house trying to look for me. I was too busy in the police cell.
That is a fantastic story.
Yeah, and that's.
I
still got the police report.
I was about to
now.
say I want a copy of it. Can I have a copy? I want to frame it.
Frame my police report. Why?
Put
it on his wall.
Amazing.
That's the only time I ever got in trouble with the law.
Wow.
And a week later, exactly a week later, I got a job at IRD, which is the tax department.
That's amazing.
Wow. And I was there for a couple of years.
So
That's my story. How did you rob a bakery?
Okay, so I'm at my sister's place. And
We sound like this huge rebels. We're not. We're nerds that play D&D, but we're not huge rebels.
This is the story of how to. So I was at my sister's. We're all getting drunk on like homebrewed moonshine, which is not a good
So
thing.
what is moonshine comprised of?
Crap, from what I know. It's kind of like a vodka type thing. It's like you're drinking terps. It's horrible. It's just hooch. But the guy that was making it, Swift, he was an alcoholic.
His name's Swift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's his name.
You really got the names down for the story.
I don't actually have, his name was David Swift, but everyone called him Swift.
Oh, okay.
So like you can just tell from that kind of nickname what kind of person he was. Like I remember once he knocks on the door, we open the door, it's him, and he just face plants like through the door into the hallway. Like,
But you opened the door.
Yeah. And he face plants through. No, I mean like
the doorway.
Doorway, yeah.
Okay. I was like, you open the door, and then he like turns and face plants the door that's just been opened.
Basically, we opened the door, and he looked in, and he was like, "Oh, sweet, this is my house," and that was all he could muster. So he just fell on his face and slept there.
It's such a good feeling if you're drunk and you make it to your house.
Exactly. So Swift used to homebrew moonshine. We used to buy it for $10 a litre. We used to mix it with V, so we just drink moonshine and V.
Really? I've never found a good alcohol to mix with V.
No, there's no good alcohol.
So for those that don't know, V is like a popular energy drink here. It's like our Red Bull.
It's like Red Bull, but superior.
It's a New Zealand brand.
Yeah. Basically. So we used to drink this shit. Anyway, I'm at my sister's, and I'm really drunk, and I just say to my sister, look, I need some fresh air. So I go and lie down in the road outside the flat. And this guy comes up to me, he's like, dude, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, what are you doing? And he goes, I'm just on my way to town. I'm like, me too. So I follow this guy. We get into town. I go up to this club, I go up to the bouncer, I hand him my school ID.
I can't imagine you clubbing, but alright.
It's called The Bog.
Bog.
It's an Irish bar.
It's such a crushish name.
I know. So I go to The Bog. Now, I'll point out this time I'm 15 years old. I hand the guy my school ID, and it says Burnside High School. It says year 5, and it says I'm 15. He looks at the photo and goes, yep, sweet. So, and I go.
Really?
Yes. I go up to the bar and I scream, what can I get for $1? Because that's all I had. And the guy goes, yep, sure, walks away, comes back, hands me a beer and gives me $1. He must have thought that I'd ordered something and not got it. So I was like, okay, well, the gods are shining upon me this night.
Whoa! You're having the you're having the insane luck right now.
I know. This is like...
But remember, the story ends with him robbing a bakery.
Yeah, exactly. So early in the night, nat 20.
Yeah, basically.
Anyway, I get kicked out of the bar because I was moshing. It was like a band like Weezer playing like Island in the Sun. I'm there, fully trench coated up, all black.
Weezer's not a huge river.
No, exactly. They're playing
that's the point.
Yeah, they're playing like...
And you're moshing
and I'm like, I'm fucking going for it. So they kick me out. And I'm walking home.
You've had so much good luck in the
I know. I'm walking home and I walk past a bakery. I won't say the name. But it's a massive bakery. It's like a chain of bakeries.
How many years ago was this? Or was it 10 years ago?
13.
Oh, 13 years ago. Yeah. Pretty sure that bakery will be out of business by now because you stole so much crap.
So I'm walking past and I notice that their warehouse is open. And I notice that there's like 10,000 boxes with the bakery logo on them. And in my drunken state, I'm thinking to myself, I'm thinking like cream buns, I'm thinking pies.
Oh, you're in the hungry state of being drunk.
Yeah, exactly. It's like towards the end of the night. This is like me. This is like my version of going to Burger King. Like my quest was find a pie.
I'm with greasy food. You're just like, ooh, savouries.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm looking in this warehouse and there's like all these boxes with the bakery symbol. I'm thinking to myself, God, there's a lot of food, and there was no one around. So I just walk in, grab a box, and off I go. It takes me about half an hour to an hour to get home. I was carrying the box on my shoulders.
How big was this box?
It was huge. It was. I can't really mime it.
But you could carry it one arm?
No, I had to have it on a shoulder with both hands.
Just maybe people cutscene.
No, yeah. And I had to switch shoulders. So I had bruises on my shoulders the next day. Anyway, I get the box home. I sneak it into the house. I get it upstairs. I get it into the attic. I'm so goddamn hungry. I open up the box, ready to eat. It was 2,000 napkins. And that's the story of how I robbed the bakery.
That's such a twist at the end. That's a great twist.
I didn't find it so funny. I was so hungry.
Can you imagine your disappointment?
Yeah.
It's like you've done all this work. You've had the most brilliant luck in the world.
Yeah.
And then that's like karma.
And then
That's definitely
the next day at 3 p.m, my sister goes, "Where did you go last night? You stepped out for some fresh air." And I'm like, "I've got a story for you."
By the way, do you want a napkin?
I didn't need a napkin again. Basically, I had a surplus. But
did you frame one? I want one of those napkins to frame.
It's actually probably still in the attic of that house.
It'd be funnier if, like, from a really rare coincidence that we
One
don't have a lot of
person
New Zealanders that watch our stuff, but the one that watches this actually owns that bakery.
No, it's the police officer that's been on this case for 13 years.
For 13 years, like the cold case of the box of
And
napkins.
finally, he's found a break. I would just like to point out that we got another copyright thing for the live stream.
Oh no, I'll delete that. Don't worry.
That's fine.
I just normally delete it because one of the problems that we're having with during the live stream is because we're using the audio from the
Critical Role.
The Critical Role episode. We're doing it. I normally delete it straight away, but because I was setting this up, I didn't have much time to delete.
I just thought I'd mention it because the notification is gone.
Because the email's associated with you because you set it up initially.
Yeah, well, we just used one of my accounts, didn't we? Yeah.
I think so. Or whatever email address you have it. But you should change that.
I really should.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was good. So
Chris,
what's the story?
What's your story about the time we broke the law?
Wow.
Maybe he's only 21, so he can be convicted.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know because
You haven't lived
the thing
life.
is, like, you guys were breaking the law when you were my age.
Yeah.
I'm breaking the law when I'm my age. So
You're still in the age of breaking laws.
yeah. So I probably.
Well, he was 15. I was. What was I? So I graduated high school in like 2005. This happened so I was about your age actually, 20.
Yeah.
21.
I had a rough childhood.
I
Doing
think
the shit.
I think everyone has shit in their child.
Oh,
So you
my
don't have
God.
it. You've never broken the law.
Oh, that's the opposite.
Do you have a story that you could tell?
Not like a super fun one. There was this one time when my best friend tried to rip off a guy who was trying to buy an ounce of weed, and then he eventually just took the guy's.
Well, how did you rip him off?
Well, because the guy was really dumb.
It's like, you didn't really rip him off. You
It's
just
just
used
stupid.
complicated words, and he's like, yeah, right.
Basically, the guy randomly messaged my friend being like,
No, we don't endorse drug use.
No.
yeah, exactly.
We really don't.
Drugs are bad.
Yeah, but on a hypothetical situation,
Yeah.
this happened.
I remember
Yeah.
once I followed it. No, you go.
So eventually, he wanted my friend to get him weed, and my friend was like, well, my friend didn't know where to get weed, but he was like, I will pretend because I have no mutual friends with this guy, and he's obviously an idiot and doesn't know how to do anything safely.
Yeah.
So he was like, yeah, I can get you an ounce of weed for $350. And so
Wow.
That's kind of expensive.
Not that we know.
No.
But I'm just saying hypothetically.
From
if
from
we were to pay, it would-
research that I did,
that just you
I'd
know.
say 200. But yeah.
So he met 200. No, that's
That's
quite
what
cheap.
I'm saying. Yeah. That,
Um,
it's not
Anyway, not that I would know either.
No,
No,
not
of course,
that.
I don't know.
We're really speaking from a hypothetical Dungeons and Dragons.
I am imagining that if I were in a tavern, I would not expect to pay that much.
Yeah, I just hypothetically, if I was to buy pot from Black Power, I wouldn't know.
I think the more we try and get away with this, the worse it's getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should leave that. But what happened was he was like, yeah, I can meet you. I'll grab your money and then I'll pop over to the person, get the weed and bring it to you.
Yeah.
And so he
That's
met the guy,
That's
grabbed the money, and Drove home.
Okay, so no, this is what we call in the business a self-cleaning con.
Yeah.
And it's the thing that the guy can't go to the cops and say, hey, I tried to buy some drugs and it didn't pan out too well.
Yeah, exactly. So basically,
There's bound to be someone that's done that though. It's like,
They
that's
did.
definitely.
No, they did. This weed dealer shortchanged this chick. She went to the cops and was like, hey, I was trying to buy pot. And the guy, and they're like, okay.
I'm trying to do something illegal. You guys
Yeah.
have to enforce legal law. Wait a second, I found myself a trap here.
Well, see, I, like you guys, no, the channel's never seen me with dreads, but I used to have, like, dreadlocks.
I've never seen you with dreads, and I never want to.
No, it's terrifying. I was that guy. I was a white guy.
I've seen that photo because on Twitter we had the whole post an old picture,
Oh, yeah.
and I've seen that one, and
Yeah.
you just look like someone that's from like What You Do in the Shadows or something.
I was basically like, yeah. So anyway, I didn't do drugs, but I looked like someone that did because I had like very heavy.
Are you saying people that have dreads do drugs?
All of them?
Sounds like
yeah.
stereotyping.
Wow, that seems racist. Ollie.
That is quite racist.
That's very stereotypical.
No,
racist.
because I was one of them, so I can say it. But yeah, no,
That's not how it works.
It's not racism.
That's not how racism
That's
works.
cultural appropriation and racism at the same time.
Yeah.
Very progressive.
You're like,
yeah, on the-
here's a shovel, Ollie. Just keep going.
There we go. But I mean, not only did I have people on the street like, do you want to buy some pot? I'm like, no. I had a guy ask me if I could get him pot, and I was like, no. I had a guy in Christchurch pull his car over, wind down the window, and go, do you want to buy some pot? And I was like, no, stop fucking. I don't do drugs.
Yeah, maybe there's something with that. I mean, I never had enough hair to even think about getting dreads. So
I didn't do it intentionally. It just
I was going bald like at 22, 23.
Yeah.
And I'm really fucking bored, so no one ever sees me without that.
Yeah, well, we just did, but
Yeah, the audience will never see it. Not until I can be 100% comfortable with myself.
Maybe if we get to 1,000 subscribers.
I'm still going to get that tattoo.
Cool.
Because I for those that are recently new to our channel, I said
Right.
ages ago if we ever get to 1,000
You'll get a
subs, I'll get a
tattoo.
D20 tattoo.
Yeah.
I'm still getting it. Sorry, 506.
Yeah, so 494 to go.
Yeah.
That was some quick maths.
Yeah, that was
Quick maths.
So what did you say?
464. 494.
Yeah.
494.
494.
I said 494.
You're four.
Oh, I just bought a new set of dice that I don't need.
This is Ollie's thing. It's like, okay, listen up.
Let's unpack this.
Ollie talks about fundraising for Japan.
Yes,
How much did you spend on this dice?
I would rather not say.
Come on, say it.
$70.
$70 for a set of dice.
They are metal and beautiful. I got 10% off because I bought it for my work.
They've been open like 4-dimensional.
You
No,
roll it
that
and it
dice needs
affects
to like
the
be able to
action.
get you laid every time you roll it. I mean, that's
Dude,
just,
I can get laid wherever I want.
that's not the point, Ollie. That's not the point. The point is not
You
about.
could have got laid with $70, right?
Yes, it's true. I technically could have. Prostitution is legal here.
It's legal in New Zealand, so we're allowed to mention that, even
Yeah.
though we have never mentioned anything illegal.
But it is illegal to be a pimp.
Yeah.
You can't be a
Or
pimp.
you can own a brothel,
But you can't be a pimp.
but that has to be like a registered.
It has to be synced.
It depends, you can't own a pimp can, basically.
Well, I kind of agree with the legalization of prostitution in New Zealand because it means the girls are safer.
Yeah, it means
Exactly.
they can go
Or
to the
guys,
cops.
if
Yeah.
you go down that route.
It means the prostitutes can go to the cops. And again, it's what we we're talking about before. If you were an illegal prostitute, something happened to you, someone beat you up or whatever, you couldn't go to the cops and say, look, I was doing this illegal thing, but someone else did something more
That's
illegal
actually
to me.
something. That's what's happened in America because they've
Yeah.
introduced this new law. The idea, how it was pushed through, they said it was to combat people being taken advantage online, like revenge porn and things like that.
Right.
But really, the law has been worded that anyone that does, basically like cam girls or the ones that kind of do Craigslist ads and actually try and get clients that way,
Yeah.
where they can actually vet the actual prostitute of their clients,
Yeah.
they can no longer do that openly. So they're being forced into the streets.
Yeah.
And so pimping has gone up.
Yeah.
And also girls going missing has gone up too.
Right.
Chris is leaving.
I am leaving. Thank you very much for
Thank you, Chris.
for having me.
It was lovely to
have
meet
fun.
you.
You too.
Try
Please-
not to be too loud on there.
Please don't tell the
Will
bakery.
do.
Yeah, so I think
Please don't tell the bakery.
think-
This hypothetical bakery.
that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I think it's like it's like the argument for drugs. You know,
The argument for drugs.
yeah, the argument for legalization of drugs. And that
We're,
it would be
we're
safer.
really
if it was-
sounding pro
No,
drug.
I'd like to point out that my initial condition that got me into the mental ward was drug-induced psychosis. I have mental health issues because I smoked a pot, a lot of it. So I don't recommend it at all.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to do whatever you do in your life, do it. but do it safely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And don't be, because the whole idea, the argument for legalizing drugs is the fact of, in moderation, some drugs are okay.
Now,
Moderation is the key, though.
Yeah.
And that's why everyone keeps on dwelling on is the fact of, well, look at this extreme example, look at this extreme. It's because those people have taken it to the extreme, just like alcoholism.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, currently, if you're trying to get like something like marijuana in a place where it's illegal, you're buying from gangs. I used to buy from a very large gang who were violent and dangerous, but I had no other way to get
Let's
it.
not mention that, they're probably still active.
That's true.
They probably have a branch here in Wellington.
The cops probably know about them anyway. But yeah, like, so that's a real dangerous thing, and people would get it. That was like, let's not talk about this. Let's talk about something else. People would get dangerous. People would get it laced, and it would have horrible stuff, or they'd put fly spray on it.
It wasn't regulated.
No, exactly. So one of the arguments for legalizing drugs is you'd be buying it from a shop with regulations, health checks. You'd get it from safe locations.
And a license. I mean, they've gone through that criteria to say...
Even though I disagree with drug use because it caused so many problems for me in my life, I actually am for the legalization of marijuana because I think that it will, make it safer for people who want to get it, because people are going to get it anyway. And if it's regulated and there's enough information out there on the topic, people won't get in trouble.
Education is the key.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think everyone looks at the extremes of what happens when people abuse it.
Yeah,
There's a difference between using and abusing drugs.
Yeah.
So if you abuse drugs, you're like doing that every day. This is your life. You wake up and you can't function without it.
Yeah.
Or every weekend you go out, you always need to take drugs to have a good time.
Yeah.
That's when it becomes a problem.
Absolutely.
And I think it's just the fact that we have to grow. Like, we basically have to mature as a society to say, hey, we can trust everyone to not take advantage of that.
Yeah.
But I think the argument for not having it legal is you just look at alcohol and look how many people abuse that.
Yeah, I actually would say that especially in New Zealand where binge drinking culture is massive, we have so many road deaths, people driving drunk, we have so many alcohol poisoning deaths. I think it would be a better move for our country if we legalised pot and had some of these people just watching The Simpsons instead. Yeah,
you never just let someone smoke pot and like, I want to get into a fight.
No.
You never have that.
Unless it was with the Hamburglar.
or with, like, trying to figure out what's the best way to walk to McDonald's.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, fighting with your phone. It's like, tell me, I don't know.
Someone takes a cheeseburger.
Uber Eats isn't working.
Someone takes a cheeseburger away from you. They might swing at you, but luckily the delayed reaction will be so long that you'd probably leave the room by the time they do.
It's slow motion. Like, and you're just like, I really just take the burger. But yeah, it's like we do joke about drugs, and it's a huge touchy subject. But at the end of the day, is we don't control these things. We're just giving our opinion.
Now, to be fair, I think I mentioned this in the last podcast. I've struggled with schizophrenia, been in and out of hospital.
I struggle with depression.
Yeah, and I don't know. You're not on medication, but I'm on regular medication.
I have tried it though.
Yeah. So we both know this kind of thing. All of that stuff for me came from abusing drugs, and this was a long time ago, by the way.
How many years? Just put time frame on it.
13, 14 years. So this is the same time as the bakery story.
Yes.
But so basically all the horrible mental stuff that I've gone through has come from that. And I've often thought, if I could go back and do things differently, maybe I'd make different choices. But at the same time, I feel like now that I can work with young people going through the same stuff in my job, that maybe there's a reason for it.
And plus you also have the thing that event in your life led you to where you are now.
Exactly.
I mean, it led you to Julia, it led you to meeting me. If you were, you'll probably, if those events didn't happen, you'll probably have a different,
I could be
you could have any job, you could have done so many different things that you wouldn't be where you are. So, I mean, that's the way that I kind of look at it, because when I was young, I got meningitis. But people out there, this is the first time I've actually mentioned it. When I was, one day before my 8th birthday, I got meningitis. And I got very sick, and it kind of buggered my life up for a very, very long time. And that's where the depression comes from, is the fact of that I had childhood depression, and it kind of just always carried along with me. The one thing I hate about the drug side of it, some people it works fine. Yeah. Some people it helps and all for it, but it all comes down to, because everyone's got different chemical imbalances in their brain. It's not a one fix. So when I took it, it just made me numb and I
Right.
just didn't.
Yeah.
I'm already an emotionless bastard. You just imagine that's amped up to an nth degree, you know.
Yeah,
And I just wasn't motivated to do anything, and I was kind of rotting away.
Yeah.
And that's why I had to stop doing it and find other techniques.
Yeah. But hey, again, your experiences led you here, and we wouldn't be doing this podcast if that stuff.
I definitely wouldn't be doing the podcast because I've worked in the contact center for a very long time.
Yeah.
And it made me terrified of my own voice.
Yeah.
And I couldn't listen to my own voice when we're doing like quality stuff.
Yeah.
And listening to myself back, I hated it.
Interesting.
And even now I cringe.
Yeah.
Even seeing myself on camera. That's why a lot of people don't know I wipe my eye when I
Yeah.
tell stories or I tell very personal stories.
Again, I know this as well.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't notice it on. Some people say I hide it well. Like I was doing the live cast of the episode today.
Yeah.
And someone said, I think it was Jason.
Yeah.
He said that I hide it very well.
Yeah.
I don't think I do.
Yeah.
I think I've just done it for so long that I'm kind of used to just doing it and
Yeah.
getting involved.
You were very honest about that with me right from the start.
Because you're a performer, I'm not, and
Yeah.
that's your strength and that's my weakness. So
I
always like to
do.
go
I
for it.
feel comfortable on camera, but actually, the last couple of months, I've actually really noticed your level has stepped up, man. You've stepped up your game in terms of what you do on camera.
I think it's. Also,
I think all it is being able to bring out your personality and being,
I think it's also because people aren't posting your shit. So I think that helps with people like posting positive stuff, like I like your stuff like
Yeah.
that, and you're realizing, maybe I'm not as shit as I think. Because I watch, like you could say my performance or whatever,
Yeah.
like myself, and I'm like, that's horrible. But other people's perception of that is completely different.
Yeah.
And a lot more harsher on myself, and I think that's kind of helping me get through it. I mean, we are going to get to a point where we're going to have people that say your content's horrible.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
we
I mean, we've
didn't
already
like it.
had,
Yeah, and we get that, and I think it's one of the things that come with posting stuff on the internet.
Yeah,
It's just, but we also just don't want to become numb to when people give negative feedback that we're just saying they're just trying to be negative.
Yeah.
They also want to take it from a creative point of view because we want to
It's
construct something awesome.
It's the
for
terrifying. It's the terrifying combination of mob mentality and anonymous mentality as well. There's a guy that did an experiment where Darren Brown, he got a bunch of people in a room, and he framed it as a game show where you could make decisions in this guy's life, and you could like make it so that the girl spilled a drink on him at the bar and then shouted at him, or you could make it so that he got like a free drink. And he gave all the audience members masks so they could hide their identity, and they got to vote on like what would happen. And he pretended that it was a game show, but it was really an experiment on the audience. And because of the mob mentality, and because of the fact they had this anonymity behind these masks, they started being really horrible. They started going, let's make him have a car crash and let's get into his house and break his TV. And at the very end, Darren Brown kind of stages this guy to get hit by a car. And it's projected to this room. The whole room kind of goes. And then he steps out and says, this is what the real experiment has been about. You guys influenced this stranger's life. You made people spill drinks on him. You made him get into arguments. You went into his house. You ruffled through his clothes. You did all this kind of stuff. Look at what happened. Look at yourselves. And you can actually see the moment where some of the people take off their masks and are just looking at each other like, did that really happen? Did we really just all gang up on this complete stranger?
Well, so I would ask the question is, would that happen if they didn't know they were in a game show?
Yeah. Well, we don't know. Well,
See
a great example is Hitler.
Wow, that's a nice little jump that you have there. It's like game show.
So basically, it's the mob mentality thing. You get a whole bunch of people waving flags or pitchforks, and people will do things that they wouldn't normally do. In life, it's mob mentality. It's really dangerous, and that's the internet or anonymity.
I think consequences is big, and at the end of the day, this is why you don't do it in real life is because there's real consequences.
Yeah.
But with the internet, I think people have reached this point that you can say something and get away with it.
Yeah.
So it's like the question of, do we like where it is now, or do we move to a place that you are accountable for what you're saying online, but then you take away the freedom of saying what you say on the internet because you're held accountable for it.
Can I make another point involving Hitler? Okay, so
It's like Think about that quote. Just right there. Can I make another point involving Hitler? You literally just said that word.
Yeah. So essentially, I think where the strength of the internet lies, nay, the strength of the critter community lies, is the fact that in large groups of people we can do amazing things. Now, Mountain Dew had this competition where they said...
Really going to place right now. It's like critters, Mountain Dew, here we
Hitler,
go.
and Hitler's on his way. So Mountain Dew...
Hitler's on his way.
He's coming up. He's right around the corner. He's probably like killing people.
God, I really want this moment to be over. Okay.
So Mountain Dew had this competition online, and they said vote for the name for our new Apple Mountain Dew, and whatever you vote for the most, that's what it will be. Before they pulled the content and the competition off the internet, the number one voted name for the new flavor of Mountain Dew was Hitler Did Nothing Wrong. And this was all because a small, I think it was 4chan, a small post on 4chan, said, hey look, there's a competition, everyone vote for this. And everyone on 4chan rallied together and voted for that, and it got through. So that's the power of the internet.
I see how you tied Hitler in very well. You're very good. I don't think anyone will feel too offended by that.
Cool.
But it kind of reminds me of the name Boat thing. With Bodie McBoatface.
Yeah.
Because they didn't pick that in the end. It's kind of
another thing happened with Taylor Swift said, where should I do my next performance? And everyone voted for School for the Deaf. But then she showed up and did it, which was cool.
I think Pitbull did a similar thing. Yeah. But he actually did it because it was like this weird-ass isolated place.
Yeah.
I think it was in Alaska or something.
Nice.
And he actually ended up going.
Another one was, people said that Justin Bieber had shaved all his hair off. And all the Bieber believers...
shaved
their hair off, and so all these girls
mob mentality.
I know, and anonymity. But think about the power of community, and if like this is why I joke about our 500 subscribers and marching on Washington. Think about it. I mean, we could do some stuff.
We're never going to march on Washington. I like to think I have a say in what
I'm honestly just trying to see if I can get the black helicopters to come by saying this stuff online.
No, we're in New Zealand by the time we get there. Yes. So we're at that time.
I had 3 coffees
in
in a row. I really need to pee.
Yeah. So we're at that time that we actually are going to do fan mail. Do we have a theme song? Do you want to do a theme song?
Yes.
Go. Do a theme song for our fan mail.
Are there any instruments around?
I got the. Have we still got the drum? We've got the drum.
Okay.
Ryko's drum.
All right, Ryko's drum. Right.
We'll go get the drum.
All right. This is all improvised, but this is going to be good. All right.
If someone wants to make a remix of this,
make a remix, make a theme song for us. All right, here we go. It's Dave and Ollie reading fan mail. You send in questions and other things as well, and we read them out on the podcast because our lives are devoid of meaning.
Shut up, Ollie. I want to sign it off like that.
Of course.
You realise you have to do that every time until we have a remix.
Yes, I 100% will.
You just really?
Yeah.
You don't even remember the words you said.
It was something about Hitler.
Anyway, let's move on from Hitler.
Yeah. Our first email is from Hitler.
So we've got an email from James Grant, who sent us an email previously.
Yes.
So every email that, at the moment, that you send us, we will read out on this podcast. Regardless of if you're someone that sent in ones before, we really like them and it gives us something to talk about.
Absolutely.
So it starts off saying, evening, guys. It is actually the evening.
It is. It's like 6:15.
Yeah, so it's good. I just wanted to make sure Oliver doesn't feel that we like Dave better. Told you! Told you!
Now,
even though you said it as a joke, part of you is just like,
Well, okay, now I will admit that the last 2 weeks mentally have been very strange for me. I've been back in this...
Have you noticed I've been super nice to you as well?
Yes, nice, thank you. I did have this whole thing about everyone hates me kind of thing in the last 2 weeks, and that's my schizophrenia. But...
Yeah, I get that with depression. It's like I feel like I've just got to trap myself in the room and not do anything, which I've been doing.
So I that actually really helped me get out of that hole. So thank you.
He continues.
Yeah.
We love both of you, just in different ways.
So we're like the parents of some child.
Yeah. We have favorite.
Yeah.
So should we reveal what we're toying with?
Sure.
Verses.
Yeah.
So we thought, because like every community has like a name for their community.
Believers.
Yeah.
The critters.
So because we're sort of inspired by Critical Role and in turn Matthew Mercer.
Yeah.
And we are called the D20 Multiverse.
Yeah.
We figured we'd call ourselves Verses.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this, you're one of the Verses. Man, that sounds like...
We're still coining that if it doesn't stick.
I thought maybe multiverses, but...
Multiverses?
Well, that's
a little bit lengthy.
It is quite lengthy. Multiverses.
But we're toying with it. I mean, at the end of the day, you guys are the community. You guys
keep reading. I'm pee my pants.
Anyway, I've now started watching NPCs of Wildmont. Help desk. There's forgotten E in Wildmont, by the way. Just saying. Help desk and Draven Tavern as long as listening to your podcast. Thank you,
Awesome.
James. You're probably listening to this right now. Thank you.
I love you.
When do you guys have time to play or DM a game? With my full-time job, I'm lucky to play just one night a week. Keep putting out content. I enjoy watching you two interact on the couch. Interacting is a nice word for it. Bantering.
It sounds overtly sexual. I like watching you guys interact on the couch.
Everything's sexual with you, mate. Critter, sorry, continues. Critter and a long-time player, right at 40 years in America, James/Jim Grant. So we'll call him Jim now because I feel like we're his friend.
We know him.
Jim.
Yeah.
So
Hello,
I guess the
Jim.
question is, when do you guys have time to play or DM a game?
So I DM a game every Thursday night. I always have it free. Thursday I don't have any work. I don't think. No, I have.
You're looking at me for the answer. I don't know.
So Thursday, I always have lunch with my friend Lorraine. She's like 65, and I love her. She's awesome. She's a stand-up comedian. And then...
That's pimp.
yeah, my pimp. And then I've got the afternoon to plan for the session, and then I do I do D&D there. The game that I play in is a whole bunch of comedians, so trying to get a regular time is impossible, because they all have shows and stuff.
Is that with the Ben?
No, that's with Julia and her
Oh,
friends.
okay.
So that just falls whenever it happens that we all have a free night.
Do you DM that? Or?
No, I'm a player. I play Arathis Moonblade, aka Cloud. So yeah, I find some time, and also I don't work full time, so that makes it
And plus the whole lives thing. I know we joke that.
Yeah, we don't have
so much lives. And plus you do Black Winter Nights, which I think about renaming when we go to.
And we have to, because there's only one Black Winter Night still alive in the party.
Max there.
No, Will.
Oh, Will.
All-Star. Yeah. Which is cool, because he was one of my favourite Black Winter Nights.
So yeah, when we live stream that again, you'll see Ollie.
I'm currently working my ass off trying to get working again.
It's something that we've always had in the background, and ultimately I want to start my own game where I DM.
Yeah.
It's been something I've been toying with. I've been building the world. It'll probably reach a point where we're releasing more content as well, and we'll probably do that online.
I was wondering, I got given from a guy at work a USB, which I still have your USB. I just remembered I did not take the stuff off it yet. But he gave me a USB full of PDFs of different tabletop systems in case you wanted to do something other than 5th Ed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Or at least for
I've
inspiration.
always been like 5th Ed is what I've been introduced, because I'm a relatively new Dungeons & Dragons kind of fan, you could say.
Yeah.
I only came along with it. Like I've always liked Dungeons & Dragons. I've always had it part of it, but I haven't really dived into it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, see, it was Ben that introduced me to the game. I had DM'd a one-shot in Shadowrun before that, but Ben made me fall in love with it.
Yeah, so I may do a game. I currently don't actually have anyone else that's looking for a player, so I haven't actually been a part of a game.
Come and play in Black Winter.
I just don't know whether I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's not the same vibe as...
Yeah, it's not the same vibe, because I like Eyes of Alicia. That's the game I have been part of. It's actually on this channel. But that fit into my style.
Yeah, Black Winter, because Eyes of Alicia was very much more like Vox Machina, like quite light-hearted and a lot of cool
personality focused.
Whereas Black Winter is very heavy on the role play, and it's very much about the plot and stuff.
Yeah, so I'm basically just looking out for a game that will feel more like that. That I can actually have a joke and people aren't going to take it too seriously.
Take it seriously, yeah.
It's like my character Stefan that I played. He was really he didn't take things too seriously, but he did have a serious story. It's like Scanlan.
You had a real interesting character, and the great thing was you role played in your own way, that you played true to the character, who came off as a sarcastic person, but actually had like a lot of depth to him, which is what I think I'm waiting for with Mighty Nine. Seeing the other side, because when I saw the other side of Stefan, that's what made me fall in love with that character and be like, I want to write plot points for his character.
And he'll probably come back in some form.
Yeah,
I reckon Stefan's still alive in the world. We'll just say the rest everyone from Eyes of Alicia died, except for Raiko. Raiko just ended up joining a band.
No, Raiko is probably going to go on to be one of the most successful bards in all of this.
Yeah, probably.
Because he was amazing.
And he remembers everything.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
please, I really need to pee.
All right, let's wrap this up because we've been going for a little while. So yeah, thanks, Jim. And if you do want to write to us and have it read on the podcast, and hopefully Ollie's bowels will be empty next time, please send it in. Any question, we're very open people. As you probably heard through this podcast, it kind of went all over the place.
Yeah.
So any question we will answer. And make sure you stuff. Now that we hit 500 subscribers, I am going to be launching Pateron, and the link will be down below. We're not expecting people to jump onto it. It's kind of a soft launch that we're doing at the moment. But if enough people kind of putting their money towards it, donating and paying a monthly amount to us, if it gets around about $25, maybe $50, we will start doing another show. It really depends on if people are willing to contribute that much a month. So, thanks everyone, and hopefully we'll hear you in about 2 weeks.
I really enjoy doing these, so thanks for listening, and check out the rest of our content if you've got nothing to do this evening.
Yeah. Or... yeah.
Dude, we've done 3 videos in a row. I've had a coffee for each of them. I really need to be.
I'm dragging this out. See ya, guys.